Wow. Good afternoon, people. Oh, sorry about being late there. Dealing with a tarantula on the stairs, would you believe? Bit out of breath. Florence Beauregard. Yeah, okay. Welcome. Hi, Box. Rob. I saw Holly in there somewhere. Yes, Rob, absolutely fine, mate. Stuart, welcome, buddy. Sorry, just rolling one ear and getting my breath back. I was all nicely settled. Heather went up to the toilet and come down and said there was a tarantula on the stairs. Well, that wasn't her exact words. There was a big spider. So, and that had to be dealt with. Who else we got coming in? We'll wait for a few more to come in before I put the link up. Mrs. W will be joining us shortly. Oh, yeah. So how have we all been then with all the new changes and all the crap from the little jolly in Manchester there? Afternoon, Mikey. Welcome, buddy. Yeah, I mean, basically all it was a big, as I said in the video the other day, a big pat yourself on the back session more than anything else. You know, they proved themselves what idiots they are by some of them even flying to get there, which I find quite amazing with what they're trying to do. I can't remember which one it was, but there was at least one of them flew to Manchester, and I think there was a couple of others as well, which hypocrisy at its best, I think. I'll call that. But the HS2 thing was actually announced now. Yeah, they're going to scrap the northern leg. So, you know, that's going to upset the northerners. Good afternoon, Jason. You know, nothing north of Birmingham. Well, the roads won't cope with the way they are, as I said in the video yesterday again. But it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, sure, we get a couple of... Oh, my bloody voice is going weird. We do get the odd one or two piping in. Most of them are new accounts. So we can more or less guess who they are. Well, basically, that was an account, a new one that was created on exactly the same day as that one. So, bye-bye. We'll have rid of you two to start with. Sorry. Oh dear. But that's too much of a coincidence. Yes, Rob, a lot of them have, and they've defunded as well. They're withdrawing their support. A lot of them did it at the closing dinner as well. Good afternoon, Paul. Evening, mate. Obviously, there was people against from their own party. There's quite a lot of them against what they're doing. All right, James, no worries. Yeah, there's a lot of them that have turned against them with some of the policies. Well, not just the policies. There are moves, obviously. We've seen what's going on. But they are going to try and remove Sunak. It's plainly obvious to me. Plainly obvious. But the thing, I was going back to this HS2 thing. I was just having a chat before I put the link up, guys. What about the people that have lost their land and got nowhere near what it's worth, that the government have forced them to sell? The ones that have still got their land, but they've been greatly devalued because of what's going on around it. I mean, I saw a thing there the other day where a guy's lost over £500,000 off the value of his property because of HS2. Afternoon, Rubber Chuck. Are these people going to be compensated for this? And I mean, they were saying the time scale when it would be finished by. Well, if they do anything else, it's going to be the same time scale, and the money will just be wasted elsewhere. Yes, Jason, the absolute billions, mate. And turning Houston Station site into housing and retail centre or whatever it is they intend to do with it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I should write a report on a current political.
Can I get back to Ebenezer? Sir Ebenezer there. My favourite one at the moment is the whole green thing with, should we have wind farms where you can't actually recycle the turbines, so they're having to store them in warehouses, but that's inverted commas green? Or should we be doing getting the oil and the coal out of the ground that we have for the moment to make us self-sufficient as a country, and look at the green issue when we can find some way of making wind turbines actually green and reusable, recyclable, whatever?
Stitch, good afternoon, darling. Cool. Sorry, guys, I've got an itchy tit.
Hi, Stitch.
Do you know what? I've just actually noticed that the YouTube feed isn't as clear as StreamYard. Okay. Just noticed that.
Settings on YouTube have changed.
I've just been playing with other things and features on here as well. You know what I'm like for learning it. And I've already found one I'll stay away from for now. Apparently you can put background music on it. So I activated it and couldn't stop it. So that was a bit of a panic. But I have learned how to do the banners, but I'll play with that next time I come on, not when there's people on here. What's wrong with water turbines? Yes, Paul. Water wheels have been used since God knows when, not to produce power. I mean, that was one of the original powers of industry, was the water wheel, as you know. And I think reverting back to stuff like that, I mean, they're complaining they got enough water with the floods and that. So yeah, Ebenezer Fox, the way you're typing and what you're putting in there, you're almost copying the trolls that just got thrown out. So just advise you of that one. We don't take prisoners in here. But yeah, Paul, there's the wave ones as well. Again, it doesn't matter what they do. There's going to be a certain amount of stuff that's not reusable in the system. Metal, if it's used, if it's steel, it's going to rust. Alloy can oxidize. Plastics break down, wear out. It's where do they look for the components of this? I mean, wood, obviously, that's been used for hundreds and hundreds of years. we know there's nothing polluting about it, but it doesn't always last that long in certain circumstances. No, it's just the way you're asking things, Ebenezer. That's all. We do get a lot of.
Is he American?
No. But as I say, I do like to let people know that we watch what's going on and who people are. Sadly, it's a fact that you've got to do no matter where you are online now. It's just getting ridiculous out there. I mean, YouTube has been messing around left, right, and centre. Facebook's getting as bad. You know, there's channels getting pulled down off Discord. Plus, is it 2-3 weeks now before the new online safety bill activates? Smiler, good afternoon. You know, these once that comes in, there's going to be a big change on here, and I do believe. Good afternoon, Phil. Once they bring that in, you'll find people will be seeing some of their backlog of videos disappear. You'll certainly see certain channels disappear, and obviously we won't know how far the censors are going to go until one of us gets pushed, because we won't know. They're not going to print every word that we can't say. They will jump on anybody that's against the narrative or disagrees with the narrative or anything that anybody in power says. That will be frowned upon. Now, the worrying thing is Ofcom and the government are behind all this, but they're going to leave platforms virtually to police themselves over it. Oh, I'm very based, Ebenezer. No, we're in the West Midlands, mate. Just outside, well, about 10 miles outside Birmingham. But yeah, and you'll be surprised their powers when they do want to get rid of you. They will go as far as to even delete your Google account, obviously, because Google owns YouTube. For my channel here. Yeah, Rob, if you've got a stagnant channel and you're not posting on it, or there's no reactions, nothing happens on it, they will do. But they will, as you've received, they've always said they will give a warning that channel's going. No, he hadn't been about for a few weeks, Stu. I believe he was having technical issues, quite a lot of them. I don't think his lives went very well. He really struggles to get a live going. You know, plus over there, they're a lot more strict on what you can do. I mean, you can guarantee when Murph's on a live here watching us or putting a live out himself, they will be physically watching him. That's just the way it is out there. They're a lot more strict than what they do to us here. Plus, they've got the usual censorship to deal with as well. You know, when you think North Korea, places like that, they've actually got their own internet. They won't entertain Western internet. But some of those can get on ours over here, but they still have to play by our rules. But their rules are totally different. Yeah, I've been really good, Stuart. After I got the last two pulled down and got a couple of bans, I thought, well, if I want to keep getting my message out, if I still want to keep putting stuff out there, I've got to do it within the rules, because that's the only way you can keep going. But Any watch comment? I did not instant uploading it. Yeah, you don't need an account for that, Stuart. You don't need a channel for that. It will kind of create one for you, but unless you have been naughty somewhere, Rob. I mean, as I say, I've got one subscriber, love him. I think he's on about his 9th profile now. Simply because of his views on some things some time back. And he used to have a hell of a problem, comments being deleted everywhere. He couldn't subscribe to any channels. There was one point where for about 3 weeks, I think it was, he couldn't even comment on mine. Yet he wasn't banned on here or nothing. It was all down to YouTube. And the thing is, you just can't hold them to account, unfortunately. As much as we'd like to. You know, they're an entity unto themselves, and that's why I call them the faceless cowards. You know, when I've been wrong about them, I've been man enough to admit it and apologise. I did get a couple of things wrong about what they were doing. And I actually did a complete video the following day, not retracting what I said, but apologising for not picking up and saying that I was in the wrong. Afternoon, Jack. But who owns the Bank of England? Yeah. Nobody in this country. So, good afternoon, my dear. How the devil are you? Oh, I've got other stuff coming in here in a minute. Right, let's get this up to start with. And if anybody does want to jump in, they can. Right, now guys, bear with me because I get. Oh, thank you, YouTube, for telling me I'm live. Good afternoon, Adrian. How are you, mate? Ebenezer, yeah, modern day London today. From what I see, it's more like Beirut, just without the guns and the bombs, obviously. But yeah, it's a lawless city. It really is. And a lot of it is down to Khan. You know, he's been concentrating on this ULEZ shit and trying to push that. And he's just let the place go. I mean, I'd never go there again. That's for sure. Yeah, Ebenezer, you know, you get a warning or something like that, or a comment gets removed. I see it as a medal because you're telling the truth. Same as when I got the 2 videos pulled down. And literally all I did the next day was go and post them on BitChute. You're guilty until proved innocent with them, and they make it difficult to prove yourself innocent. But I suppose the big one today is the change in the guidance on. Can we? No, we can't call it that because that word doesn't go down too well with the bots. Assisted dying. And this does cover, apparently, and this is mainstream news, so it shouldn't be censored, including suicide pacts. Literally, what they're saying is it's not fair if somebody's got no quality of life, they're not going to live, and they just want to end it a bit earlier because they're just fed up with the suffering. Now, before, if someone helped them do that, because obviously it was against the law, as far as I know, still is. It's just that they're relaxing the guidance. The law's not changing. The guidance is. Make sure you remember that. But they're not going to jump on people where the case has been proved. Yes, the person did want to go. Yes, there is no turning back from what they've got or wherever they are. They won't have a quality of life. We saw it myself. Heather said it earlier, perfect. Her mother died of dementia. Now, there was 2 or 3 times where she went right down and they were saying, this is it, she's got about another hour. And she looked happy because she knew it was coming. But then she turned sort of sad and bitter when it didn't happen. And that happened each time. So, there are people that are ready for it, want it, and I believe they should be allowed to have it. I won't say any more on that. There's a lot of other ins and outs, but if it's a proven fact, then I think it should be allowed. But as I say, the law's not changing. It does stay illegal. It's just that the guidance for the judges from the CPS has said be more lenient on it. So all the big hoo-ha on mainstream media, it's all changing, this, that and the other, is a load of bollocks. You will still have to fight your case if you're involved in anything like that, like you do now. That will never change until they change the law. It's like the new laws they've put in place now. They pick and choose when to use them. They pick and choose at what level to use them. Now, when it's concerning somebody's life and the end of life, if they've got 6 months left, they can drag that case out for a fucking year. Now, how fair is that? It's got to change. Other countries have done it. And ultimately, they want rid of some of us. We know they do. They want rid of the old. They want rid of the sick. Simply because it costs money to keep them. And it's money they don't want to spend. So you could look at it from that side, that angle. Yeah. My missus has put it perfectly there. We have the ability to control when we live and when we die. That is a given right by birth, being a human being. Even animals have the same right. They can choose. Now, I don't believe that anything like that can be made illegal. But it is, unfortunately. Yeah, sure. I mean, I always said when I was on the bikes and racing the cars, if I was ever going to end up living the rest of my life as a vegetable, I'd rather end it there and then. Alan, good afternoon, buddy. No need to apologise for being late whatsoever. I've got half a dozen that usually drop in 5 minutes before I finish. Afternoon, Princess Angela.
That's the evening crew. They're just coming on at 7.
Yeah, I mean, I chose to end it at 7 in the evening. One, I can't sort of keep going too long. And the other one is, obviously, evenings. There's a lot of what I'd call standing live streams out there. Some I know, some I don't. I don't visit them anymore. But in fairness, I don't need to be in here when people are going to be going off looking at other streams as well. So I give that amount of time. I'll finish at 7. Gives everybody a chance to have a bit of nosh before they go on the streams that open up at 8. I do respect other people's streams when they put them up, because I know some of the guys in here go on these other streams as well. Don't have a problem with that whatsoever, but I'd like to give them the option of doing both rather than flicking back between. Username, which way now? Yes, so that I did try and warn you about that. It's YouTube. They've changed a lot of names And Google have done the same, assigning different names and numbers and all sorts of shit. You can change it. The first week it came out, the option came up when your name came up, but now you have to go looking for it. Afternoon, Rippy. How you doing, buddy?
It's in the personal settings.
Yeah, Heather just said it's in the personal settings for those that don't know.
I tried to check up last week and it wouldn't let me do it because I'd already done it in the last couple of weeks. But it's somewhere in your name, and you've got like a screen name, and I forget the other term, and this is what I wanted to check out. And it was like a nickname. And that is what was showing the name that you signed up with. That's one of the issues that I'm aware of. But I would imagine everything's in that same place. Sorry, I can't be more specific.
Jack's just put there, they call it the handle on there or something, your handle.
Yeah.
I've only got one handle, and it's obvious by the size of it that I never got used to lift out the bath with one hand, but hey.
But it was showing the handle rather than your username. I don't know what they've done. So I just went in and changed that on mine.
But I
so
did see something else up there. Yes, Ebenezer, but sometimes rights can conflict. You might have a right to something that trumps somebody else's rights, but unfortunately, when that sort of thing happens, then you would have to prove that your right does actually beat their right, such as your right to travel across land that they own if there's a right of way,
And their right to refuse if you've got a dog and they've got animals loose.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of ifs and buts and it's a glad thing. Well, you haven't turned into one of them monkeys with a blue ass, have you, James? Yeah, but the love handles, Beardy, they're just good for washing you up and down in the bath, isn't it? Getting the matey off at the end of the day. If you do it the other way with the other handle, it's like using you as a plunger. I reckon my mum lifted our kid out the bath with one hand, looking at him when he was, shall I say, undressed. I don't want to see the state of our sister. Fuck you know. Sorry, folks. It's a bit early for that sort of thing, isn't it? But bloody hell, my chair's rumbling and squeaking. Remind me to get a WD-40 out. Oh, I had a call from the hospital today as well. They finally remembered after a month and a half that I've got to go in and have some bloods taken out of me. So I've got that to look forward to next week. Yeah, Bob. Luckily enough, none of mine ever suffered from anything like that. They didn't even suffer from bad hips, to be honest. My best one didn't because he got run over, sadly, in his prime. I wasn't there at the time, but the only reason the state are an arbiter in stuff like that, Ebenezer, is because of the law. And you've given them, same as everybody else in this country, whether you voted or not, the fact that the voted goes on and a party get in, it doesn't matter what anybody screams and shouts. If they're voted in, they have the consent of the majority of the country, which gives them the right to do what they do. Yeah, so mine's I don't know why they call it a posh name. All they're doing is taking a pint of blood. They call it the venous section. Again, it's to do with the red blood cells and this disease, whatever it is I've got in them. They're still trying to find out whether it's me bone marrow or whatever are producing it, but it causes havoc. Bear Britain, good afternoon. But the only thing I don't like is that they put a big bore needle in. I must admit, because I know most of the nurses up there, they are pretty good with me, and I do have a bit of a laugh with them. But I do pull them up on it's going to be a little scratch. No, it's not. You're shoving a fucking great big 2-inch long needle in my arm. It's going to be a bit more than a scratch. Yeah, it's if you want to look it up, Sue, it's called polycythemia. It can be cancerous, although in my case, apparently it isn't. But it can cause all the symptoms I've been having over the years, like blood clots, strokes, muscle problems, headaches, blurred vision. All of this is just things I thought that went along with what I was having problems with at the time. But it turns out that all of these, and the things I've been experiencing, except for breaking myself on the mountain bike, could be put down to the symptoms of polycythemia. And the other thing is, because I have to take blood thinners for several conditions, I'm very, very prone to bleeding along the same levels as a haemophiliac. I've had the bypass, so I've got to be really careful with that, with the rubber tubes or whatever it is they put in there. But yeah, right bleeder. And the funniest thing was, the first day of lockdown, I put a chisel straight through my hand out in the workshop. Yeah, so I've learnt to live with it. The biggest hit was the strokes, obviously. More or less because of that, and they can hit at any time, is why the doctors have said, no, I can't work with the fatigue. Because I can be on my feet for 5 minutes sometimes. Other times I can be on my feet for a couple of hours. Another time I wouldn't even be able to get on my feet.
Come on then, Stuart. Come on the panel. Come on, Stuart. You don't have to show your face.
Yeah, recommend one, Stuart. But yeah, it's something I've got to live with. It was a bit of a job coping with it to start with. But I'm getting there now. I'm learning my limitations and taking that switch. Yeah.
It's a race car.
Yeah, it just more reminds me of my old race cars. Just for effect, I might put an old harness on it at some point. It was only a cheap one. It was a Christmas present for myself a couple of years ago. I got fed up of shuffling backwards and forwards on a fucking dining room chair. I did have another old office chair in here, but that fell apart. Heather's got a nice new one upstairs, all padded and what have you. But yeah, I think that's more than my limbs are worth to go and steal that one.
It's got the same problem as the other one. It's got dropsy again.
Yeah, you can actually replace the rams in them.
I know. I'm going to give Dave a ring and find out how much it would cost.
It's where you bend them; it breaks the seals.
Yeah, well, we got it from Dave, so.
Well, this one wouldn't.
Mine.
Yeah, the best presents. Yeah, they're usually the most expensive as well. Yeah, I like having Heather in here when I'm doing my live, Stuart, simply because she is a part of this channel. I mean, at first she used to be in the background. You never saw her, never heard from her. But she has helped me so much with this because she knows a bit about tech where I know absolutely zilch. And it's really nice having someone in the background there. She can check things out. She can
I'd still rather have
moderate.
a job.
Yeah, I know you'd still rather have a job, but at the moment you haven't. So, but it's really nice that she is part of the channel and part of the lives.
But that's why I was never here, because I was at work.
Yeah. I'll to the gaming chair.
And you did it while I was at work, and then shut off as I was coming home.
That does say poof and not puff, doesn't it, James? Sorry, I shouldn't say things like that on it.
It's on the sofa with the dog.
I mean, the eldest grandson he's got gaming chair and everything, but he's into his games and and I'm never into that sort of thing. And the reason the chair isn't a plush is because I couldn't afford a decent one. You know, you can go out and pay £1,000 for one. But I did get a good tip off of Dan from Police Abusing Powers, which I'm going to try, is get a memory foam cushion for it. Apparently it makes them a lot more comfortable. There is actually an old office chair laid out behind the workshop out there, but it's been out there for about 5 years now, so I don't particularly want to go anywhere near it.
It's waiting for the skip.
Yeah, we must get a skip in and have a clear up. There's too much out there now. Plus, once we cut all the dead out of the garden.
Some help, but he's working now.
Yeah, but we can have the skip for the month as usual. I can do bits and pieces as and when I'm up to it. Yeah. And then Kev can come over at the weekends and help blitz. You know, I mean, Carl will probably come over and give a hand as well, because there's a lot of the old timber out there as is.
We need to coincide it with a trip from Palmer and
yeah.
But we'll get them in as lackeys. Get Mike.
But that's the trouble. You can't burn it here. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Right, I'm just going to try something here.
Oh, God, here we go.
Right, let's try this. Right, you got to bear in mind, people, that what? Oh yeah, that one. Got to show it, haven't I? Okay, so why won't it let me? I had the bloody thing scrolling just now, and now it won't scroll. Scroll the banner. Oh no, you got to click it when you make it. Okay, sorry, people. Yeah, you know what I'm like. I just find things on here.
See it.
And play with things. Yeah, I like a good fire. I mean, when we used to cut the trees down at the farm and that, I mean, you build them out of the trunks. They'd burn for a week. The old man would always be there rolling his spud around in the ashes.
Oh, Mikey, he's learning loads. He's learning loads.
Where? Where's Mikey? I'm not on Top Chat here, am I, or something stupid?
I'm on Top Chat. Again.
Oh, you said Mikey. I didn't see his name come by.
Who did that? Who? us getting all sophisticated.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Oh, I put me back on top, chat.
You know the rules, pillage, axe, and burn. Well, I've got two chainsaws out there. I gave one away. I got one electric one, which the motor burnt out on. It didn't just destroy the brushes, it destroyed the armature as well. And the petrol one is basically a disposable one. When something goes wrong with them, you throw them away and go and buy another one, but it's actually got quite an horrendous fuel leak at the moment. And having had the experience of sitting in a fire, it's not something I'd care to repeat, so I don't use it. So anything I cut up out there has to be done by hand with a bow saw at the moment, which takes forever in my condition. Yeah, we've got a little fire pit thing out there, like a fire basket rather than a fire pit. I think we've only ever used it the once. But we do like a barbecue out there in the summer. You know, being carnivores. Zerkestein. I would cut one on camera, Stuart, but it would be an awful long video. I mean, when I used to go up the woods and that doing the bushcrafting, you know, a few hours of sawing never used to bother me. But now I can't even walk up the woods at the moment. It's just too strenuous for me. And being up there in the middle of nowhere is the last place I want to have an episode. Put damp sawdust in it, Sue. But you can actually put sawdust in the bottom of them if it's the one with the door on the front and block the chimney and use them as a smoker. Well, you can do the same with 2 trays, but you can do it with them. Yeah, Rubber Chuck. I see down in Wales now they've started on the normal speed cameras as well. Apparently there's been a few of the average speed cameras that have been hacked down that they put up. All right, James, no worries, mate. Take it easy, buddy. I have got grinders out there, Stuart, but they're corded. I'd need a hell of an extension lead. The only cordless tools that I actually got are drills. I suppose I could drill lots of holes around them. But I'm rather old school when it comes to my tools. I prefer hand tools to these new modern ones. Plug it in and it does it all for you. There's no skill in that. Yes, Stuart, it is. I mean, you look at how much momentum it gained in London. I mean, there's one borough there now that they've had them all down. Yep, people were, well, one's been arrested for blocking the ULEZ vans, but that was under a bullshit charge of criminal damage. But some of the vans have got security with them now, but absolutely they cannot stop you, and they admit it. They cannot stop you standing behind the van with a placard or something held in the air to block the camera, as long as you're not actually stood on the highway. Barrow, was it, Stuart? Yeah, I can't remember what I did see the report on it. Bromley, that was it, where they'd got them all down. I'm just seeing if I've got any information on it on my notes here. 'Cause I've always got a few notes lying around for my videos and things. Yeah, nothing was said about that. Yeah, I've got nothing in there about it. It's something I'll have to look into. But I know one of them, Bromley or wherever, they actually destroyed a lot of them. But if there's anybody out there watching from the Blade Runners, be careful how you're having your pictures taken with the cameras you've removed, because I have noticed in a couple of them, you're holding the cameras with no gloves on, which if they ever get recovered are obviously going to relieve fingerprints off of that. So just be careful, pass that out there, share it. Just a little bit of advice. You know, if you're doing anything, you know, you're always going to leave fingerprints if you ain't got gloves on. Who fought in either world wars of the 20th century? I phrase that way because historians regard those wars. Yes, I do. I have relatives that were killed in the Second World War. Yes, literally, hundreds of them have been disappearing. Some the same day they're put up. Wasn't Harrison Ford a playwright? Yes, please, Demon. Welcome. Absolutely. Well thought of. Twice, wasn't he? They were good films as well. I like my sci-fi. Resist. Good afternoon, matey. Just running a large drill right through the camera. Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you just cut a cable can be spliced, unless unless you happen to cut a foot out of it, then the whole cable has to be replaced. You know, I do it all the time with extension leads, just as a reference. But yeah, you know, if you want something out of the way, you obviously remove it. You just don't damage it. But I can't advocate that, obviously, because it's a criminal act. It's actually criminal damage. Yes, they are rewriting history, Highbox. But as I've always said, my belief is history happens different ways depending on who you hear the history and read the history from. Because everybody that writes a book, does a program on history, is only seeing it through their eyes. And there was lots of eyes that saw history. So no matter where you see it, history will look different from different aspects of who wrote it, who recorded it. You know, same as a war. One side's going to tell the history of it different to the other. Very good, Demon. Very good. Oh, I'm empty. But yeah, I've always said that it doesn't matter what history it is, what period of history. I mean, how can I put it? Roman history looks different from their recorded version of it to ours. It depends where you read it from. I mean, some say history is created by the recorder, which in some respects is absolutely true. But what could I use as a good analogy of that? The slavery trade many years ago. Most histories record it as the white man took slaves and sold them from Africa, wherever. Whereas in fact, the first slaves were sold by their own people. They were actually sold into slavery. You know, and again, a lot of people didn't know about that side of the history of it. And I'm not saying anything right or wrong there. I'm just pointing out that was what is written in history if you look from two different sides. Getting very deep today, and that's unlike me on a Friday. But on the up, a lot of the wokeness is being done away with. You know, there's a lot of sports now are not having this trans thing with them entering in women's competition. I believe the NHS are changing, and unless you are a female, you will not be allowed in the female-only wards.
As a patient.
As a patient, yes, true. Nobody's mentioned that other than you. Which I totally agree with, because if you're in hospital, usually it means you're ill, and your privacy over things like that are imperative, and you can't mix the two. Yes, there are mixed wards, but only for, you know, certain things. You know, you're not going to get a bloke that's in there having an operation sat in a fucking maternity ward. Well, you might do, because some of them reckon they can have fucking babies now, but there you go. There are some very strange people out there. Yeah, everything that the government and that do at the moment is about monetary gain, high box. It's not about safety. It's not about looking after the people. It's all about monetary gain and power. Having the power over people. Yeah, Bleach Demon, that would... Well, mind you, my scar looks like I've had a C-section.
Very bad one.
Yeah, a very bad one with the size of it. Because they opened me up right across my stomach for the bypass that I had. They actually had to cut me open, take a lot of me bits and pieces out and put them in a dish and move things over so they could get to where they were going, apparently. Where they nicely installed I'm not sure what it's made out of, actually. I've never asked. But I believe it's some sort of... They said it's a man-made tube anyway. It's not cow veins or pig's bladder or anything like that. It's totally artificial. So I presume it's some form of rubber or something. But you can feel it now and again. It will move when you move your leg, and it's weird. It's not someone I've looked at, Bleach Demon, to be honest. I mean, I had a few hours to myself this morning because sometimes I don't do a video on a Friday. I had one set up. I had all my notes there. And I just got into watching some motor racing videos. So I caught up with them a bit. Has anybody else got anything to bring up, or they want to... I know Ebenezer will, because I got a pretty good idea who it is, and he will try and go deep. So the truth is always good, even if it's not good. The truth is always good.
Didn't he make some misogynistic comment about women in football? That's what they're talking
Oh,
about.
Kevin Keegan.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's to do with football, then I wouldn't have a clue, because I absolutely hate the game. And it don't matter who's playing, whether they've got tits, dicks, or whatever. It's just a game I can't stand. Yeah, sure, you'll be very, very surprised how many are like that. I mean, yeah, I've always admitted I do watch some TV. One, I like documentaries. The only sport I watch is motor racing. But to do my videos the way I do, I've got to be honest, I've got to look from all angles at what's being said. I've got to look at what mainstream media are saying about a certain topic or whatever. I've got to go back, look at YouTube, what they're saying in here. I go back and look at newspaper articles to see what's being said there. And I also watch what other people are posting. I believe you shouldn't form an opinion on something unless you've seen it from as many angles as you can. I try and use a bit of humour when I'm putting it out, because it is all doom and gloom. And believe me, I don't like putting all that out there. I'd much rather be putting out some happy stories. But that's just the way I work. Same as down at Police Abusing Powers. If a copper's done good and it's proved that, yeah, he's a good copper, he'll absolutely give them praise for that. But that doesn't mean he's praising the whole of the police force. He's praising that individual for his actions or what he did. You know? And you've got to have that balance. Otherwise, you just end up branded either far right, far left. You know, we're all branded conspiracy theorists anyway. So just for disagreeing with the narrative, you know, we're conspiracy theorists. But there again, you look back over the last 2 years, how many things are happening now that started as conspiracy theories, because the government denied it and covered it up. If you hide it, people are going to make their own mind up, you know. ATL, good afternoon, buddy. Hope you're well over there across the pond. It's the same now. I mean, all this hoo-ha, I mean, a lot of it, I believe, is cover stories. Why they're doing it now, I don't know. With the aliens and UFOs, or what is it, UPA or whatever they're bloody called now. To me, they're still a UFO. You know, they're saying there's defined evidence. Well, put it out in public. Let's see it. I haven't seen anything that they put out in public that is a defined evidence that they are there. And you can't believe what they say, because they've spent God knows how many years doing cover-ups and lies. So there's been too many conspiracy theories out there. Yes, they do, mate. They do. They don't bother with the cover-ups anymore. Same as our lot here. They said they'll be transparent, and they do nothing but lie and try and cover things. So they put Tupac's killer. Yes, Bleach Demon, that could be another story that they brought up, just to cover things up. That's quite all right, Rob. Not a problem, mate. UAP, that's it. Well, to me, a phenomenon? Is that how you put that? I don't know. Is something that obviously isn't a solid object, shall I put. If it's obviously a solid object, then it's an unidentified flying object. If something strange is going on there, ball of light, ball of gas, yes, that could be classed as a UAP. But that's the way I look at things. Yes, ATL, and that's what our newly fledgling dictator is trying to do away with. He basically wants control of everything. And that's why he wants to change the way Parliament and the government work and politics, because he's saying, yes, and I do agree, a lot of it is outdated with the way they go about things and too long-winded. But there's also a great heritage there, which some of it needs to be kept. Most of that's in our favour, obviously. Yeah, that's been going on for a long time, Rob. I've seen photos, I've seen videos. Yeah, a lot of them are unexplained. What are you laughing at?
Rob's comment.
Where? Which one?
Well, he said thank you for watching mainstream.
Oh, yeah.
I said I have to watch it too, all day, every day.
Oh, of course you're lagging because you were on YouTube, not on.
No, I had
Streamer,
to type it.
Oh. But yeah, it's one of them situations that you can't believe nothing now because of so many cover-ups and so many lies. And I don't believe they did anything for our safety by hiding anything. I believe that if they are hiding anything, it's for their gain, nothing else. Yeah, sure. I mean, if you don't see them telling lies, then you can't go and look for the truth. You know, and believe it or not, it is quite amusing sometimes. What was the one that they showed a clip of yesterday? Oh, one of the Sky presenters, the politician was going off on something and saying that's not the sort of questions you should be asking. And apparently he basically got told to shut up. They were going to ask the questions and they were going to choose which questions they were asked, which I found quite amusing. Yeah, that is a lot of it there, right there, ATL. A lot of this that they're coming out with now has been in the pipeline for absolutely donkey's years. I mean, think about it. It was even being thought about in science fiction films that I remember seeing in black and white. That's how old that idea is. Now, if that idea had been being developed, let's just say AI, if they've been developing AI, which we know they have, it's got to be the government that was doing it originally. And they've took it to a level where they can't do any more with it. And that's when they put it out. And that's when some of these other companies like Muskie and people like that pick it up. Yeah, I can certainly remember the first colour television because we were the first one in our street to get one.
Snob. Did you get it from Radio Rentals?
No, it came from, oh, fucking hell, what was the place called? It was a TV shop and radio shop in Abingdon. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called now.
Sorry, my point was most people didn't own a telly. They came from Radio Rentals.
Yeah, you had a box on the back that you could put coins in, like a meter.
Or you paid so much a month. For
No, the old man bought ours.
Snob.
Yeah, I always remember that. We were the only ones up the street. I used to get all my mates round. And yeah, I can go back. I can remember watching things like Thunderbirds and stuff like that in black and white because they were in black and white.
Fireball XL5.
Oh, Fireball XL5. Yeah, that spent a long time being put out as black and white, didn't it? And
Andy Pandy.
Yeah, a lot of the Watch with Mother, a lot of those. I can remember those in black and white.
Wooden Tops were definitely black and white.
I had a console TV. The only one I've ever had in a car was a modern one, a little 7-inch screen that came with the player that I fitted. But yeah, I drove cars for the thrill of driving. I like a bit of music when I was driving, but other than that. Yeah, I think our second TV, I think that one was a rental one. I remember the box on the back took, like, what was it? I think they were
Probably
10
shillings.
shillings or 10p's, yeah, something like that. Yes, they did, Rob. Apparently Elon got into a bit of a bollocking for it because he did headhunt from Lockheed and a few other companies when he started his. But as we know, the Skunk Works and Lockheed have always been behind any secret project that the Americans are doing concerning stuff like that. That's right, Holly, not a problem. Yep, Bill and Ben in black and white, Charlie Lewis and Lamb Chop. Yep, the sock. In fact, those videos of those episodes are still on YouTube. I've seen them pop up now and again.
What up?
And Lock Company by me. Lock. What was that, ATL? It's not one I know of. Lockheed Martin. Yeah. Well, people were surprised over here when it got put about that a few years ago, not the census we just had, the one before that Lockheed Martin actually lent them all the computers and the software to collate all the data. Would you believe? Saying that it's secure data, it won't be copied or what have you, which I don't believe for a fucking minute. So literally Lockheed Martin have got the details of literally anybody that filled in one of them census forms. Yeah, and the shadow government, the black government or whatever it is they call them. No, Ebenezer, I don't. Most people got over punk rock. Most people got over the Teddy Boys and Rockers. Think about it. Rock and roll was bad. They were called degenerates back then for jiving to rock and roll back in the 50s and 60s. So those people turned out all right. So yeah, maybe this new whatever it is they're doing, rap. It's not rap. I don't follow that shit.
I was going to say that's about
yes, that because that is about that sort of thing. But music from the past, no. Bombardier, Short Brothers. Yeah. Well, this is the thing, Stuart. We equip our army, but a lot of it isn't made in this country. We do produce some of our own. Sorry, Ebenezer, I've had it on good authority that you're one of them clowns from last week, so goodbye. I half suspected it right from the start, but can only take so much of you lot. But yeah, I mean, our police force, look at what they carry, what they use. Glocks. No, British police force, shouldn't they be at least carrying British firearms?
All for PPK.
They carry Glocks, most of them.
What was it Bond used?
Oh, the PPK, yeah, that
That's
was
what I
bombed.
said.
Probably one of the most useless fucking handguns there ever was. So I don't know why they cast that into it. Yes, or is it the not the MP4, the auto they use as well. Yeah, none of those are British made. I mean, I've always considered Walther the best barrels in the world anyway for anything. Their airgun barrels are absolutely amazing. Yes, it was. It was designed as a lightweight woman's gun. Not very effective. Not didn't have a great lot of range, and believe it or not, wasn't that accurate. And the rounds they used were very, very small as well. You'd never stop a human being unless it was a headshot with one. Obsessed with Lockheed Martin and others. Yeah, so as a youngster, I always knew Lockheed Martin through the aircraft because I was interested in aircraft. We lived literally a quarter mile from the end of a runway, an RAF runway. So I was always seeing various aircraft coming in and out. So I got interested in a very young age, and particularly in the game of trumps, because obviously if you got the SR-1, the Blackbird, you won the hand instantly. Yeah, there was nothing there to beat it. No, not the SR-1, the X-15. Sorry, the Bell X-15. Yeah, he's halfway there already, any Rippy. Yeah, they got the Heckler and Koch. The original SA-80 did have problems when it was put in service, as even I know, Stuart. Apparently, the new ones are a lot better, but the Heckler and Koch has always been very reliable as a weapon, and it can take various rounds as well. Yes, the G36. Thank you, Mikey. I knew it was Heckler and Koch, but I didn't know which model. Yeah, it's. I mean, you go back some of the British guns that were used all over the world. I mean, what was one from the American Civil War era? Black Bess. Was it Bess? Black Bess. It was one of the British made muskets that was the most popular. What other one did we have? The Royal Enfield 303. Obviously, that's a well-known one. The British Bren gun was far better than anything the Americans had at the time. Mikey might correct me on this, but I believe the only one of that era, well, even earlier, that was better was the German MP40 or 42, I think it might have been. The one they used to call the Buzzsaw. The M1 Garand, yeah. Yeah, but that was actually a rifle, Jack. It wasn't a light or heavy machine gun. That was actually a rifle. Caused many a thumb damage with black nails, or what they used to call the M1 thumb. The Sten was the cheapest gun that Britain ever produced that was issued to the British Army, Jack. Most of it was made out of bent tin, folded tin. That's why there aren't many of them survived. They just rusted. Good afternoon, Daniel. How are you, sir? Grumpy old kid in the corner. Yeah, no worries, mate. Like I say, nobody's under obligation to come in. But yeah, the Sten gun. I mean, half the time you see them in films holding the magazine, looking like that's the best way to hold it. The reason they used to hold it like that is because the fucking magazine used to drop out if you didn't. The Americans did have a similar sort of thing made more or less out of folded tin. I can't remember the model number now, but the nickname of it used to be the grease gun, because that's what it looked like, a big grease gun. But ultimately, I suppose the best one that's ever been produced, well, I wouldn't say the best, it's the most common used and built, is the AK. It's simple in construction. They built it all around the world. All the parts are interchangeable. Yes, it was, Beardy. Absolutely, mate. I mean, even the Bren used to overheat, but they compensated for that by making them a quick release barrel, didn't they? And every team carried a spare barrel. So when it got hot, they used to undo the barrel, fit the other one, and the guys would be stood behind pissing on the old one to cool it back down. And I actually got told that by a vet. And that's not something I just heard. I've had several vets tell me that they used to piss on the barrel to cool them. Shoots in any environment. Yes, ATL, and it's so easy to clear, take apart. Field stripping them are a breeze. I've never done one, but field stripping them is so easy, very few parts, and it's just basic, simple engineering that works. And I believe they've used the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it. And I think there is a new one out now, but yeah, but you look at some of the conditions the M16 was used in ATL, particularly Vietnam. Yeah, they were quite often drowned in swamps and things. But there again, the British SLR, the FN, that was an amazing gun in its day. But it was just too long for urban use and what the sort of wars that would be fought now. They were designed for war in an open field. Good distance, good accuracy, reasonably light. And apparently after the Falklands, they made damn good manhole covers as well. And I did hear a story, and this did come from someone who was out in the Falklands. Several of my mates were out there. That when they were coming back by ship, before they got into the Solent, just off of Portsmouth and that, they were all told that if they've got any Argentinian memorabilia, i.e. weapons, the best thing they could do is throw them overboard, because they will be searched for them when they disembarked. And apparently there was a big flurry of handguns going over the side and knives and all sorts of things. And again, I've had 2 or 3 of my mates that were out there told me about that. They did tell me some stories from out there that were hilarious. Thompson submachine copies of made. Yeah, and a lot of them were actually shipped over as well, Stuart. Believe it or not, sadly. But there again, you can go on YouTube and you can look at videos of them in India, Pakistan, places like that, making replicas of like Glocks and stuff like that. and that's how easy they are to copy. And these guys are making them in back sheds with lathes, hand-driven lathes, and all sorts of things. You know, yeah, they're probably dangerous to use half the time, but they do work. Yeah, stop them sticking, ATL. The usual one was with the tape over the top, it used to leave some residue, didn't it, on the top round? So to make sure they were clear and moving and there was no dust in there and anything stuck, used to just to make them clear of the wrap at the top. Most people would think it's weird that a civilian that's never in the army would know about these sort of things, wouldn't you? This is why Dan used to call me during the war. It's just something I'm interested in and I've always looked into, you know. I used to shoot years ago. The only thing I shoot now is air rifles. And that's only on a range. We don't do any wild shoot or anything. Sadly, we shoot little metal targets. Oh, that's one. Right, well, that's cleared that up. Nice little bit about weaponry there. Sadly, a lot of which we were talking about aren't available in this country. Yeah, I dare say there was a lot of it going on, Stuart. I can't verify it, but I have been told that there was quite a few come back from Northern Ireland as well that were confiscated in raids and that because there weren't any proper records kept. Yeah, that's not as easy as it looks, Holly. As the holes in my shed out the back will testify. But apparently it's an incoming thing. I mean, yeah, over in America, as ATL will probably say, it's been going on for years, the competitions. You know, I mean, the Native Americans used to do it with tomahawks and shit, but it's kind of a new thing over here. Yeah, it can be a cheap sport, Holly. It depends on how deep you want to go into it. If you want an out-and-out target bow with sights and everything like that, you know, you can go into the thousands and thousands of pounds. But you can set yourself up with a basic fiberglass bow, quivers and a few arrows for around 40, 50 quid. It just won't have all the bells and whistles on, won't be as powerful. And some ranges, archery ranges, actually restrict what power you can use as well. Especially for crossbows, if they allow crossbows on. Many don't. But they do restrict the power limit that you can use, especially with some of these big compound bows that are coming out now, very powerful ones. And just incidentally, if anybody does own a crossbow, bear in mind, unless you're going to an archery range or taking it to a shop to either sell or be fixed, you can be fined up to £1,000 for having even a part of it in your car. So if you've gone to the shop and bought a new bow, as it were, for your crossbow, then you've got a reason to have that in your car, taking it home. But other than that, if you forgot it was in your car and they pulled you over going to work, they could fine you £1,000 for any part of the crossbow. It is illegal to shoot live quarry with them, and unless it's on private land, it's illegal to use them. Sadly, I believe there should be more legislation around crossbows because they are more dangerous than some of the guns that need licenses now. Certainly a lot more deadly. Yeah, if you're shooting a range rob, £25 pull is fine, you know. I mean, most of these cheap crossbows that you see out there, you know, they're anything between 120 and over 300 at times. But most ranges won't let anything on over 120 in a crossbow, if they allow crossbows at all. Yes, exactly, Beardy. I think it's to do on how the projectile is fired. You're not actually using, you know, gunpowder or anything like that. I've always said the same with air rifles, but I understand why they license the higher powered ones. They're not actually firing anything, they're just pushing it. But yeah, and the thing is, it's a hard thing. If you wanted to walk around in public with a crossbow, it is quite a hard thing to hide. Even if you've got a fold-up one with the fold-up arms on it, bow. Do not give the golden pigs ideas. Yeah. But again, you can openly go in a shop and buy one just by showing that you're over 18. And not only can you buy one, you can buy these very, very nasty hunting tips as well. The bladed ones and fishing ones. I mean, I can't see the point in selling them in this country when you're not allowed to use them. I mean, I actually had someone asked, I can't remember where it was now. Somebody asked about shotgun shells. Somebody was talking about shotguns and the licensing. And somebody piped up and said, well, you don't need a license to go and buy the cartridges. Yes, you do. And you've got to jump through the same hoops as you do to get a license. You've got to have your license with you. They will write on your license how many shells you've been given, what type. Basically, to buy shells, you've got to show your license and suck the shopkeeper's dick. Yeah, that's what I mean, Beardy. The law isn't exactly clear on what is a firearm. Although the tasers are fired by a slight charge, not compressed air. They are fired by a charge. Got 9 years of behind 4, yep. Is that raining?
It might be, or it might have been me typing.
Oh, I could just hear like that bloody gutter still leaking out there.
No, a bit like that.
Yeah. Well, you types a lot quicker than me, don't you?
That was a load of rubbish.
That's the biggest defence going for everything now, Beardy. No matter who it is. It's the most common used excuse, I'll say, not a defence in most cases. Obviously, the police are the biggest users of it. Yeah, it's not a case I followed. You know, I've seen the results or the sentencing, but But again, that's something else that old Roland Rat said he was going to look into, wasn't it? About life sentences and people being, not released early, but being let out on license. I mean, to my mind, that first thing they should be looking into is this thing where people have got an open sentence for virtually no crime at all. One guy had been there for 11 years for stealing a mobile. Yeah, he did have previous, but there was nothing involved in that. All he did was stole a mobile phone. Chalky, good evening, matey. How you doing? But again, with these Just Stop Oil clowns that got on the stage at Les Miserables yesterday, now they've been charged with aggravated trespass. Now they're going to throw them in jail because they put new laws in place to do it, didn't they? And deal with them. Will they get sentenced? Yeah, the law at the moment's an ass. It really is. Oh yeah, Dan, I doubt if you heard it earlier on. I panicked a bit. I was looking at some of the features on YouTube with a couple of minutes to go to the live, and I found the banners and brand buttons. Banners, yes, I understand that one, how that works now. But the brand, for some reason, I got it playing background music and I couldn't stop it. And it got to like about 30 seconds to the countdown and going live. So that's another thing I've got to play with. And over the weekend, Heather's going to look into that 4K for me that you mentioned. And it's Andy, actually, what she does, she loads it onto her laptop and has a play with it. And then she'll tell me whether it's suitable for me. Or whether she thinks I can use it.
Doesn't go on this laptop, goes on your laptop.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, because if anything messes up, that'll mess my computers up, won't it? If this one ever goes down, I've got nothing to back up. Don't believe the BBC. I did see that message earlier, Holly. Thank you. I'd already suspected that, but he hadn't really done anything wrong, but I'd had enough of him.
So is it a case now of we're banning any American with an account created last week?
No. By the way they were typing and the questions they were asking, it's quite obvious they were the same people.
Yeah.
Even in my little mind, I can see that. How did it go, Ollie? During the war in the Middle Ages. Yeah. I did make a wooden longbow at one point, and I'll tell you what, I didn't have the strength to pull it. I could not load that thing up with an arrow and pull it all the way back. How them things were used back in that day, in them times. They must have been a lot bigger blokes. I never did measure the pull on it. Next week. Oh, nice one. Look forward to it. Is it coming out under your normal channel? Yes, Stuart. Oh, you got to have a bit of a giggle with them, ain't you? You know. Yeah, I did underneath my videos now, Mikey, along with all the others. You've got a link in there. So if anybody's interested in military models, dioramas, and stuff like that, military history, modeling history, not that sort of modeling, Mike is your man. His link is always under the videos that I do during the week.
If I was any good at a mod, I'd put it in now.
Nope, new channel. We'll grab the link. Okay, Holly. There you go. That's Bearded Veterans' new YouTube channel there.
And that's Holly's new one.
Oh, that's Holly's new one. Sorry. So I'm a bit slow with the links because
he's Bearded Veteran.
I get distracted by having to go over there and find a link and post it on here. And yeah, some of them are quite good, to be honest, Stuart. I mean, I haven't done models for years, but I like looking at them. I look at some of the resin ones as well, the dioramas they do in resin, with the effects they get in there, with the explosions underwater and with the lights and that in. I just find them very intriguing. Why does it look like a fetish site? That's probably on a sub channel on it. Not that sort of sub. I don't know where it is actually. I think it's in the display down there. I've got a model Ferrari there. Was the last one I built that had a son bought me for Christmas a few years back. No, he ain't, Jack. Yeah, that's fair enough. Still, not everybody are into it. Oh, hang on, I've got something over here. What's going on here? Okay. Sorry, guys. This is what I mean. When I try to do something else, I start to get distracted and action on Sunday. Yeah, it weren't too bad again Sunday, sure. We did have one or two idiots in there, but it was another good stream again. Hopefully this week's will be the same. I presume, Dan, it's as usual, public stream at 8 o'clock. Give yourself a bit of promotion in here. Good afternoon, Moo. Hi guys, I just got a message from somebody else on another frequency, I should say. Paranormal Channel X, good evening, good afternoon, welcome.
I can see the keyboard now.
To be honest, Mikey, I didn't see her come in. Oh, what was that? What was that? Hang on, I've got an alert somewhere else now.
I can't see Kaylee.
That's what I said. I didn't see her. Missy, good afternoon. There's no need to be sorry. No need to be sorry at all. At all. As I say, no one's under any obligation to come in. And with the average of like 25 out of what have we got, 460 subs. Yeah, many don't, but I don't mind at all. Kaylee's bearded moo. Yeah, I've had quite a chill day, to be honest. I had stuff ready to do a video today if I felt like it. But no, I've just been sat watching videos most of the day. All right, mate.
It's like you knew it. It's like you knew it was me.
You're loud.
A bit loud.
Yeah, sorry. I just turned the volume down here a bit.
Okay.
Yes, Paranormal Channel X. There's a lot going on out there. Unfortunately, you can't believe most of it because even mainstream media, as we know, yeah, it doesn't even matter on YouTube, Paranormal X. Everything that comes out from there, you got to take with a pinch of salt at the moment. And I'll be honest, that's why I don't do many videos or cover it on many videos. You just can't take anything as Jen. If I can't prove that a certain thing has happened over there, then I don't talk about it. Simple as. None of us can on here. You can, especially in the climate at the moment on YouTube, any misinformation, they will come down on you like a ton of bricks just to get rid of people.
Yeah.
So you've got to be very careful. And it's only going to get worse, unfortunately. And that's across all platforms, not just YouTube. A lot worse.
Agreed.
You like to watch the visuals. Well, as Jack will probably tell you, a lot of that is, mate, it comes from a lot of gaming. A lot of them are CGI, very good CGI, but they are still CGI. And also, some of what you see is past film from military exercises, especially with the rocket launching and that.
I've just realised something as well. Most of my, literally, so I've got a blue T-shirt on, and most of my computer is blue. I mean, it's like I'm matching. Hold on, Oh, I've just muted my microphone. That's horrendous. Matching. Can I actually straighten that? Yeah.
We've got
Almost matching.
blue screen instead of green screen. Yes, Rob. But think of it this way. They put out, what was it, 40 killed in a rocket attack the other day. All over mainstream media. Just for a rocket attack. A whole day of covering it. Not one word about the 2,000+ a week that die here from unknown causes at the moment. So I don't believe anything that comes from
I have a
over
little
there.
topic to mention that I think I think someone mentioned it earlier. Census.
Yeah.
Now, what do I feel blue? No. I can't feel colour. Can only feel material. When it comes to the census, when that came around, I'm not sure what year it was now. It's every 5 years, isn't it? Or was it every 10 years?
10 years.
10 years. So what would have been 2020 or something, right? Yeah. What I don't get with it, right, is they were saying that you had to do it, and if you didn't, you'd get a fine, right? but
Yeah.
it had all this information on it that was very personal to people. That do you know, like on a dating website or any website where it asks your gender
You
preference?
didn't have to answer them questions,
No, yeah.
but if you did them online, it wouldn't let you proceed without answering them. Now, the only thing they are legally entitled to is your name and date of birth. Other than that, you don't have to give them a fucking thing. They can threaten what they want. I have never given them full information. They
Yeah.
turned up at my door about one, not this one, a few years back when I was in Bristol, and I just fucked them off. I said, look, you ain't got a leg to stand on. I've given you the information you're entitled to. Go away.
Yeah. The thing is why is it any of their business how many people are in the house, how much that person earns a year? All these information that's very private to someone, right? That's got nothing to do with anyone else, right? They want to know your sexual orientation. They want to know what gender
Why
you
do you
are.
have to identify with everything you do nowadays? Because they
Yeah.
want all your data. They
Yeah.
want to know everything about you. I mean, I did one. I put down how many vehicles at your disposal. I put down on one over 5,000. That was
Yeah.
one question they queried. You can't be entitled to drive 5,000 vehicles. I said, I am. I said, because I work for a company that's got more than 5,000 vehicles and I can drive every single fucking one of them legally. So
Yeah.
they're at my disposal.
Yeah.
How many people in your household at midnight on the date? None. Yet my mate had over 300 because he had a census party. There was over 300 round his place, so he put 300.
It's funny though, because like when people come into the door and that, and do you know TV license when they come to the door, they either try to sell you a TV license, or they'll come to you. After being sent big letters with red writing on the front saying I don't know, whatever it says, right? Basically threatening you to you've got to pay for it, or else they'll take you to court or whatever. You don't need a TV license if you're not watching live TV or any of that stuff. You don't need it.
No. And many people now have realised now, and they are
Yeah.
doing away with them. They're cancelling them.
Do you know what they're even saying now? Now I don't know if it's true or not
Lofa,
because
good afternoon, good evening.
I haven't looked to see if they've updated it or not. But the last I heard, now it could have been a rumor for all I know, but they were saying as well that even to watch live, like live streams and stuff on YouTube
Mhm.
or like watching stuff on Netflix and all this kind of stuff, you also
Yeah.
need a TV license. Now we know that's not true.
No, they'll threaten everything. Most of those letters are just full of lies, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just full of lies. If you go and watch, what's his name? Chili Con Johnny or Charlie, whatever his fucking name is. Chili John Carney, that's it. He does it. Now they're persecuting him now because he keeps putting out videos about TV licensing and shit like that. So now they're actually targeting his workplace because of him. They've gone in there looking for licenses, looking to see if they're using radios, watching live TV on computers and shit like that. And lucky for him, his boss is backing him because they did have stuff in there that was licensed and he did have a license.
Yeah.
But he said, "No, fuck you. We won't use it anymore. Cancel our license now." He said, I'm backing my employee on this. But yeah, it's stupid things like you can listen to a radio without buying a license. But if anybody else can hear it outside your property or through a window, you've got to have a license. If there's more than a certain amount of people listening to it, you've got to have a license.
Broadcasting.
Because they class it as broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, they haven't got a Scooby-Doo what they're talking about, so.
Yeah. They haven't, mate. They come out with threatening all sorts and they haven't got a leg to stand on.
The most funniest thing is when I mean, not just TV license related, but also census. I've seen some census videos as well, where just like what they do with TV license, because you shouldn't talk to any. If you don't know who they are, even if you do know who they are, if you don't want to speak to them, you just close the door on them. You don't need to tell them anything.
Yeah.
Just say, sorry, I'm not interested. Close the door on them. Simple. Same with census.
If the doorbell rings and I'm the one that answers it, I'm usually not very rude,
Yeah.
but my first question is before they say anything, are you selling religion, politics, hawkers, charities even?
Yeah.
If they answer yes, no, I say sorry, not interested.
Not interested, exactly.
At which point they should walk away.
Which they try, which most of them don't.
Those that don't and still try and push it, that's when I start to get rude. 9 times out of 10, I just say, look, take the hint, dude, and I shut the door.
Isn't that actually cold calling as well?
Yeah.
Cold calling is normally by phone.
Is it?
I mean, I did one, down in Cornwall. It was fucking hilarious.
You do it in person though, Heather.
The term cold calling is used when you sit there and you literally go through all the numbers in a list or whatever, trying to sell somebody something. That's what the term was used for.
Yeah.
Door-to-door selling, I've never heard it being called cold calling.
Yeah,
it's the same shit, different name.
I've heard of something called warm calling before.
You know,
That might be where you've already.
I never buy anything off the doorstep.
Yeah.
Unless it's hooky fags. But initially, I'm quite polite when I say I'm not interested.
Warm calling is different to cold calling. Yeah. Do you know, like if you're in a business or whatever, if you've had previous contact with someone and you get in contact
Dan
with
knows,
them,
I'll tell you exactly what it's like. I mean, he used to do it.
Hmm.
He used to do sales.
Oh yeah, good point. Actually, Dan's probably the perfect person to speak to about that.
No, I mean, if someone knocks on my door and I tell them I'm not interested politely, then that's where it should end.
Yeah.
I tried cold calling for one night. I gave up.
The one I was gonna. I mean, this was a few years ago when it was all double glazing.
Right.
Every man and his dog was out selling double glazing. So I had one knock on the door. Oh, yeah, you know, this could do, you could do with this. It'll make it warmer. It'd be easier, cleaner. It's plastic, all this, you know, the full spiel.
Yeah.
And I said, well, yeah, have a measure up then. Give us an estimate. And he got back to me within about a day with this estimate.
Wow.
He said, do you want me to post it to you? I said, no, you can post it to my landlord. He might be interested. He said, well, you didn't say it was a rented property. I said, you didn't fucking ask, mate. You just told me that I could have these windows and you'd give me a price for them. I said, so, okay, that's what you offered. Give me the price. And they never came back.
They never, yeah.
I mean, we did it down in Cornwall. There's an old building out at a place called Roach. It's actually up on top of like a granite rock outcrop thing.
Yeah.
And my mate was having trouble with the electricity board down there. So what he did, he pretended to be this address of this building. And could they put some services in, please? Now, I don't know whether it's the National Trust, or someone that owns this land and this building or something. But apparently the electricity board turned up there trying to put cables up there. Oh, it was hilarious. It was all in the local papers down there.
Bloody hell.
But no, I mean, yeah, I understand people have got to make a living, and that is one way that, well, it's not a very good living.
Yeah.
Make it, but you know, it's the same as anything else. If you're not interested and you tell somebody you're not interested and they persist and carry on, then yeah, that's when I change my attitude, as it were.
Yeah.
I have started having a bit of fun with politicians when they turn up on there, but I give them the 3 strikes. You know, the third time you lie to me, you're getting the door slammed in your face.
Well, the
if you
thing
don't-
is, there are times where we get Bible bashers come to the door, or
I won't entertain religion at the door.
yeah, no. We'll
I've
get
always I've got nothing against people getting religion, but if you want it, it should be up to you to go and find it. It shouldn't
yeah.
be.
People want to believe in it; that's their choice, but don't force it onto other people.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of thing we all know those that have been on past live streams have known about certain someone, which I'm not going to say, but that thought it was okay to force the certain religion on.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. So if people said no, and then they persist with, oh, I'll give you my phone number, this and that, blah, just give it a rest, pack it in, pretty much. But the main thing we do at the door, or at least I do, if a Bible basher comes to the door, someone that's just about to post like a politician's like leaflet or whatever, I'll open the door because we have CCTV, so we can pretty much see what happens around the house anyway. Well, outside anyway. And so I go out in front of them as they're about to post the letter through. I'm like, I don't want this, or whatever I say, right? And I'll throw it. I'll rip it up and throw it in the bin. I'll put it in the bin in front of them.
Yeah.
I say I'm not interested.
Well, our recycling bin is right by the side of the front door, and I'll quite often be out there when they poked it through the letterbox and walked away. I'll be out there putting it in the bin in front of them before they get to the end of the path.
Yeah.
But no, religion, I believe, is something. If you want it, you'll go and find it, and you shouldn't be pestered with it otherwise. Again, when I was a bit younger, I used to have a bit of fun and take the piss out of them. I've learned a bit of respect for certain people since then. But, you know, they'd knock on the door and I'd say, all right, then come on, then what you got to say? Oh, you know, he died for your sins. I said, no, he fucking didn't. And they're like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? He died for your sins? I said, no, he didn't. I said, he didn't have enough fucking pain to die for my sins, and you don't even know what my sins were. Bye.
Thing is, right, is that is one of the reasons as well why we have like a big group of people that want to stick together and that are kind of on the good side against the government, against all these different organizations, right? And my opinion, including religion as well, because most of the religions are it's just what's the word? We don't know if what they're saying is true because all we know is we have books. You've got the Quran, you've got the Bible, you've got all these different books, right? We don't know whether or not if that is true or if it's not, right? We wasn't there. We didn't know what happened.
It goes
right?
back to what I said about history. History is created by those that record it.
Yeah.
You don't know if it happened. You don't know.
Exactly. We don't know if it happened. We don't know if Jesus actually got crucified on a cross, or if he
Before you go any further, you know what I'm like about religion, and we don't do it in here, Jack.
Yeah, no, I know. we don't know. But
it's the same as all history. It's written by the recorder,
and
everybody writes different.
And the thing is, right, is I know religion's just one specific category or one specific topic, but there are so many things that society have either made worse. I mean, it could be anything, right? The government, politicians, the police, the National Health Service, all these different organizations and things that are making our society even worse.
Well, this is what I was just going to say. You just said all the good people that are against what the government are doing.
Yeah.
Not all people that are against what the government are doing are good people.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I agree with that.
Not all of them are good people, mate.
No.
You know? I'm not going to mention the fractions because we don't do that sort of drama in here.
Yeah.
But not all of them are good people, mate. They might be fighting for the same thing, but they won't stand shoulder to shoulder with
But
another
probably for bad intentions as opposed to good intentions. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
mate. My God is bigger than your God. Every pregnant brothers. A man shall lose his hammer. Only if he had one to start with, James. I've got a whole row of hammers out there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is James quoting lines out of Monty Python?
Could well be. Yeah.
got a clue.
Oh God.
I'm sure Blessed are the Cheesemakers is.
Blessed are the Cheesemakers is Life of Brian. The other one is the Holy Grail, I think. Yes, James.
Yeah.
You lucky bastard. Afternoon, Brian. Or good evening, I should say, at this point. How are you,
He's
mate?
not the Messiah. He's a naughty boy.
Hi, Brian.
Existed, yeah. Well, and Madonna was married to Jesus. Who else was there? There was another one. There was
Jesus used to come on the channel.
yeah. There was a footballer as well, wasn't there? Wasn't there some foreign footballer? Yeah. Otter's earlobes, wolf nipple chips, James. Otter's earlobes, wolf nipple chips. Get them while they're hot.
No, it was something else. Nipple chip.
Yeah, wolf nipple chips.
Sounds like a food.
It was the snacks. They
Yeah,
were selling.
it was from a Monty Python film. It was a snack.
the
They were walking
Romans
around the
had nothing
Colosseum
for
with,
us.
like, peanuts. They're probably well before your time, mate.
Jack needs to check out Life of Brian, Holy Grail,
Holy Grail.
and
There was the other
what
one.
was the other one?
It was one where they went sailing by in fucking offices and shit like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, because that's got the meaning of life.
People's fronted you. Don't you mean the popular people's fronted you, dear, Missy? Splitter. Yeah, you can't have babies, Brian, but you can have the right to have babies. Honestly, Jack, you want to go and watch them, mate. You learn a lot about
Seriously.
humour.
Good
And believe it
old-fashioned
or not,
humour.
after all these years, some of the stuff that they joked about and laughed about on there is very, very relevant. I mean, the one where he wants to have a baby, but he can't, but he can have the right to have a baby. And obviously, you got blokes playing the opposite sex, women playing blokes, blokes playing women. And there's a lot of relevant stuff that comes up in those films from back then that you can see today.
And what do you have to run away from?
Oh, run away, run away. And no, it's not the killer rabbits, is it?
Yeah, it was a rabbit.
The rabbits, yeah, the killer rabbits. But, there was sketches where you got the imaginary knight riding through the land, the king teaching the peasants how they should be, and the peasants revolting back to their... It's all done with comedy.
With the best possible taste.
But that sort of comedy isn't accepted in a lot of corners at the moment over here.
Yeah.
Well, anywhere. What have the Romans ever done for us? Yeah.
Well, roads.
Roads for a start. Sanitation. Fresh water. It's all right with then people are putting the knights have now. Come on, you wimp. It's only a flesh wound. What's up with you? I used to watch a lot of them.
Oh, no.
And Moose the Hermit.
I haven't said a word for 20 years. Sat in his hole, not a word is gossip. And he walks up and instantly you're cured. See, there's another one from it. The dead. Yeah, that was actually in the series, Missy. That wasn't in one of the films. The Dead Parrot sketch, probably the most famous one. The meaning of life. Yes, there you go.
We're
Always look on the
standing
bright
on
side of
that's
life.
Revolving and revolving at 100 miles an hour. I'm an out spiral on.
I'm
Yeah, I
glad
can't
somebody
remember
else
anymore.
used to watch all these. I mean, the actual one with the alien scene in The Life of Brian with you lucky bastard. Well, that stuck for years, and people still use it now. If someone does so and they're very lucky they haven't got hurt, people still use that phrase, and a lot of them probably don't even know where it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Brian, and so is my wife. Nobody stone anybody, even if they do say Jehovah. Blasphemer! I think they're still available on YouTube. I don't know. I haven't seen them for a
I've got
couple of years.
CDs upstairs. DVDs.
But yeah, I reckon some of the young generation should go and watch those.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Maybe we should do it
out
Sunday.
of respect to the religious people in here, we won't go into the crucifixion scene in Monty Python's, but it just shows what was acceptable as comedy back then to what's acceptable now. You know, I mean, I keep going on about this fucking censorship. Now, YouTube will pull a video down and has done, same as other platforms, for women wearing skimpy bikinis.
Right.
Yeah. Now, they're saying this is against policy, showing nudity, what have you. Yet there's a program on telly that quite happily does it on TV, national TV, where they show full naked male and female bodies. And it's a fucking game show.
Called Naked Attraction.
You know, I've only seen a clip of it and I thought, what the fuck? I'm not watching that. Now, how do they get away with it? Through the regulators.
No idea.
You know,
Probably just because they just can, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I find it strange that you can't put anything like that on social media, but it can go on national television.
Yeah. Seems a little bit odd, that.
But it did make YouTube the other day because apparently a woman got thrown off of it for getting too excited. What she'd
What?
seen or whatever, I don't know. I'm not even going to go and look. But apparently the rules are you can't be erect, you can't be sexually aroused in any way.
I've seen a twitch or two.
Lefty Ofcom, yes, sir. I mean, why the hell they'd put something like that on, I don't know. They're blaming kids for knife crime and murders and attacks in public. Well, yeah, because people have let them watch these violent bloody video games for years. You know. Oh, openly with the car chases, there's been one or two that just said, oh, I just wanted to do GTA or whatever it's called in real life. And ended up killing somebody, you know. I think society is breaking down.
Yeah.
I really do. And it's almost approached the point where unless something really drastic is done, it's going to snap. It's going to snap. I mean, you know, you've got gang warfare. You've regularly got stabbings every day, stuff like that. Very few are put out on the mainstream media.
Yeah.
When they do, it's normally a side story or to cover something up, or, you know, it's. I just don't know where it's going to end at the moment. I really don't. You know, and I'm not the only one that's saying this. Other people are saying this as well. But really, dude, you come up with some more imaginative fucking names with a fake profile, will it?
Last week was certainly interesting.
Well, yeah. Well, they do. I mean, in fairness, I know what they're doing. They're just disrupting. You know, they're not doing anything naughty, as it were. But I just can't be fucking doing with that in here, mate. Man, it's my channel. I do what I want. If they want to call me a bully, call me a bully. I don't give a shit. I've been called a lot worse. But yeah, like that young girl, the schoolgirl that got murdered. Apparently, it started on the bus. You know, that goes on around the country every day, but they picked on that one because it was in London, I presume. I mean, we hear of them around here every day in the local news. I dare say most towns and cities do. You know, and it's getting to the stage where people just won't go out in the evening after dark, because in some areas it is just not safe to do so. And the fact we got areas now where, if how can I put it, if you're a certain group and you wander into that area during the day, you know, I don't mean gang areas, I mean people living there, it's also a no-go area for certain people. You know, and that is society breaking down.
Yeah.
And it's creating what the government wanted. That's what these people don't realise. So I'm just going to look up through the chat because I've been ignoring it a bit, as I do usually. You hadn't had a text from Sparky, no? So a mate of mine is, we got in touch with him the other day. We haven't seen him for a little while. And it's normally on a Friday he turns up or texts. Thank you, Paranormal. Yeah, exactly, Loafer. Create the problem, sit back and watch the people destroy himself trying to solve it. They've known exactly what they're doing right from the start. You know, I've said it often enough. You've only got to put the dots together. It's communication. Well, I say communication isn't on the way out at the moment, but organisation through communication will be. Let's put it that way. You know, WhatsApp, they're all over WhatsApp now, looking at groups in there, no matter what the group is or what they're called. They're looking at all groups. I believe Facebook, or Meta as it's called now, or whatever, are doing the same. And that's why it's easier on YouTube, because everybody's in the one channel. They've only got to look the one channel. You know, they can find everything they know in there. We know they watch comments. There was one the other day, as I said, he got his channel was monetized. He's got quite a big following. A person reviewed a video he put up and said it was absolutely fine. Yeah, that can be monetized. And within an hour or so, the video got taken down, saying it was breaking community guidelines. So they're telling them you can, and then taking it down. And we're going to see more of it. 1318 could organise. Yep. Yep, you're absolutely right there, James. But this is what I've always said, and many other people have said exactly the same as me. Until everybody in this country stands together and says enough is enough, nothing's going to change. They're going to ride roughshod over us.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, there is more sheep out there than there is truth tellers. There is more people that will just blindly follow what they're told.
Back in a minute.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I was just going to say, do you want to put the kettle on, mate?
No? Do you want me to put the kettle on?
Yeah, all right. Just save me getting up.
Yes, sir.
Don't need much tech. No, once you've got meeting points, word can spread, James. Like the, you know, what did they use back then? Beacon fires, wasn't it? They used the beacon fires to guide people. Yeah, exactly, Tony. And good evening, by the way. I'd only just seen your name pop up. People are too. Yeah, they are. There's a lot of people out there that feel if they go against the government, they'll be stripped of their earnings, they'll be stripped of their living. Well, they're doing that to us anyway. And you're just going to pay more and more. And those of you that toe the line are paying more into the corruption than we are. It's already big, Moo. The amount of people that have cancelled their licenses over the last few years has actually got them crapping themselves because they are losing so much money through that. Yes, it is, Loafer. And if you, as they always say, if you don't exercise those rights, they will be taken away. But a lot of them now, they're preempting what we intend to do with our rights and shutting us down. If you've got a birth certificate, paranormal, then you are a number. If you look on your birth certificate, there'll be a number on there. That's your number. That's your peasant number. That means the Crown owns you because your parents registered you with the Crown. That makes you their subject. Yeah, in fact, I remember. Yeah.
One coffee for Roy Roger.
Yes, please. There you go. That number there.
Mm-hmm.
That means I am basically owned by the Crown. That is my original birth certificate, by the way, not a copy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 13th of March, 1961. Fuck me, that makes me sound, well, I am old, don't I? Fucking hell. I keep forgetting that. But yeah, if you've got one of those, then you are a royal subject, unfortunately. I don't even know if you can cancel them, to be honest. I know you can change your name legally, but I don't think that number would ever change. It's not on papyrus. Cheers, Mikey. Or as Dan would say, it's on the slab out the back, chiseled. But I've never seen that number in any of the cave paintings where I've been, so. But that's one advantage us older ones have over the younger generations, you know. And I don't mean education, I mean world-wise. You know, I've always said you start learning when you leave school. Same as you start to learn to drive once you pass your test.
Yeah.
And life is one long learning lesson. Some of us don't learn the lessons, but I do try to learn from other people's rather than mine. But it doesn't always work that way. 1958, me, but yeah, you're getting on a bit then, Tony. No, it was, when did rationing stop? 55, wasn't it? Rationing stopped, if I remember rightly. 65 on Monday. Congratulations for Monday, Tony. Yeah, there's a lot of disruptions in society, paranormal. Not as severe, but even back in my younger days, there were the disruptive influences in society, but nowhere near as bad as what you get now. Nowhere near as bad. It seemed to go in phases. Yeah, they were. The streets were clean. You'd have the milkman out at 5 o'clock in the morning, clanking his bottles. And doing the odd woman that was on, her husband was on night shift. But that was it, you know. I mean, home deliveries. So nothing new. I mean, we used to have a shop, mobile shop used to come round. We had a mobile fishmonger used to come round the village. We had the meat man. We even once a week we had a fish and chip wagon, mobile fish and chip wagon used to come up and park in various places around the village. You know, you don't see that anymore. The Coleman. Seeing him walk up the path with the big sacks on his shoulders, thinking, yeah, I'm going to be that strong one day. In fact, an old mate of mine from back home, they keep appearing from the village where I lived. His father was the village Coleman, funny enough. If you're out there, Nick, if you're watching, hi, mate. Yeah, his father was the village Coleman. Always well known, well respected. You know, was it his father? I can't remember. It was either his father or his uncle, one of the two. But it's, you know, things have disappeared. I've seen a lot of things disappear over my lifetime that we used to consider the norm. Not always replaced with the better things, to be honest.
No, I'm not feeding you.
Yeah, same, James. You know, there always used to be the proper greengrocers, then there used to be the mobile one that would come round. Thank you, Swinna.
You nearly had that one over the floor because you turned your chair on back around.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I can remember going over to Ireland as a kid. Yeah, well, it is quite a while back now, but I mean, the milkman used to walk up the road with his pony and trap and the churns on the back, and you'd take your own jug out, and he'd put this big ladle in and pour you out what you wanted. That was one of my vivid memories as a kid. Was we had it in this country? It was delivered by the milkman in bottles to the bloody doorstep. But when we used to go over and stay at my nan's and visit over there, every day he'd come round with his pony and trap and fill your jugs up with milk, or you'd go out and get what you wanted off him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love young people today, like yourself, to have memories of seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? It's not history, but I'd call it modern history.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm trying to think. 34 a pint. That was expensive, though. I can remember buying light and bitter for 28p. That used to be my preferred drink at the time, if I wasn't on the whiskey. Changing £3 for 3. Yeah. Yeah, it was the decimal as well, wasn't it, Brian, when they bought that in? That confused a lot of people. Because I can remember not just the weights changing over to the metric, I can remember the coinage change. I was born on tanners and sixpences and half crowns.
And halfpennies and farthings.
Halfpennies, farthings, pennies. Most of the kids today wouldn't know what they are. First point, £3.65.98. In fairness, Rob, I was drinking a bit young. I think I bought my first pint in the local pub at 14.
£3.65. Wow.
That's what I the first time I went in a pub, I paid 28 pence for a pint of light and bitter.
Wow.
And I'm sure they knew I was underage, but they wanted me in there because I was a good darts player and I played for the darts team.
I could get 10 up to 6, which is a packet of fags, a box of matches, and half a lager and lime, and get changed for £1.
Really? Wow.
How many of you out there?
That was in the pub.
This is only applied to the older generation that are in here. Can remember the Saturday morning club at the cinema? And anybody remember that?
Remember, we didn't go.
I could always remember as a kid, Saturday mornings, I was given a tanner, sixpence, as it used to be. What would that be today? 2.5p, Jack.
Bloody hell.
Now, that used to get me a return ticket on a 2-mile bus trip. It would pay for me ticket into the cinema for the Saturday morning kids club show. And it would also buy me a bag of chips on the way out to eat on the bus on the way home for a tanner, what was equal to 2.5 pence. There you go. That's how far up. And there's people in here that can go back further than me. Pound notes. That was a thing of the past. No, we're not doing pound note. Right, mind you, they stopped them when they changed to the decimal, didn't they? But yeah, yep. Always put your pennies in the jar. When you had enough, you used to go and watch a film. You did. I mean, you couldn't borrow money back then like you can now. You had to do all sorts to get ready. If you wanted to go and buy something, say if you wanted a new computer, Jack, you would have to save up to get it. You wouldn't be given the money, lent the money, or anything like that, or get it on HP. You physically had to save the money and going in and hand it over the counter before you could own it. Shilling was 5 pence, wasn't it, James? If I remember rightly.
Right.
Because the 2 shillings became the 10 pence. And then there was the half a crown, 2 and 6. £2 and 6pence or something like that.
Yeah, that was phased out.
So I'm getting stuff on all sorts of things here. I'm trying to concentrate on one. Yep. Well, I used to, on a Sunday afternoon, I used to take my old BSA Bantam, push it down to the local garage. I used to put a gallon of 2-stroke in it, and that used to come to less than 20p. And I'd ride around the pits all afternoon on that.
Just shows how money's changed over the years.
Yeah. I mean,
lots of things, not just money, but...
What was I, 12 years old when the old man first had me going out working with him and doing bits up the farm, working on the land, the landscaping and stuff like that from 12 years old.
Wow.
And he always said, if you want anything in life, son, you've got to earn it. It will never be given to you. If someone gives you something, there's always a capability to take it back, is the way he used to put it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I mean. Attitudes have changed. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Part of the family business in the landscaping, obviously, was maintenance, cutting lawns, cutting hedges.
Yeah.
You know, you get so much nowadays of, right, yeah, I want my hedge cut, but the neighbour won't let you on his side to cut the other side of the hedge.
Yeah.
Now, whoever's boundary it is, whoever land the hedge is on, they own that hedge.
Hmm.
But the other person, the other side, can stop you going on their land to cut it. I mean, we wouldn't nowadays. Most of them, they've just right, yeah, we'll do on your side, and that's it. They walk away. But we'd always go and ask, look, do you mind if we come in your garden for an hour? We want to cut this side of the hedge, which belongs to next door. We will tidy up, and it will look better for you as well. And most of them were quite happy with that. But you would get the one, no, you ain't fucking stepping foot on my property. So I'd lean over and cut as much as I could that would drop on their land and say, well, you don't want us on there, you fucking clear it up. But, yes, Moo, used to do the milk round with the milkman in the mornings if I was up before I went to school. And that was the thing, we used to be up and do jobs like that before we went to school.
I did paper round.
I can remember skiving off school to go bloody turkey plucking. Of all things.
Yeah.
You don't see that now. Yeah, it was, James. It was all hand tools. You know, you didn't have any of these modern convenience. It was a totally different life. And, you know, you guys, you young guys, you've been more or less born into this tech.
Yeah.
You know, this is just another thing, as I've said last week, that us oldies have got to try and pick up and use and learn, because it is going to be the only form of getting anything done nowadays. You know, you look at what you literally cannot really run your life without having to go online for something. You know, even if it's only to make a fucking doctor's appointment. Yeah, that was hard work. That I used to do a little bit of that for the local brewery in my young days. 50 quid a day.
He's a lot younger than you.
Christ. I think that what was my first ever wage for full-time work, albeit I was young? I think it was about 24 quid. That was my weekly wage for 40 hours. 24 quid. So, you know, youngsters think they're hard done by today. No, you weren't. You're not. You got far more than we ever had. Yeah, I don't think he has enough of a pull to actually turn us off, Rob. You know, we can produce a certain amount ourselves. Yes, nowhere near as much as what we need. And nobody else will probably sell us any more. But I don't think we'd ever totally be without. Unless our government decided it, of course. And we could still get power cuts this winter if you're listening to the rumblings behind what they're saying. The electricity providers won't absolutely say that we won't be getting any power cuts. So it is still a possibility.
Yeah.
And those that will suffer most from that and fucking around with the electric will be those on smart meters. Yeah, 1,700 quid a month. See, now I used to earn good money like that years ago, James. But doing that is one of the reasons I'm in the physical state I am now, broken. Because I wanted to go and earn good money. I wanted to do things. I wanted to go places. So I was doing 20-hour days most of the time. And I was single as well, so I had no one to waste it on my behalf. I shouldn't say that really, that's sexist, isn't it? But again, it was back then. The women expected to be kept. If you had a bloke on a good wage, the woman just wouldn't want to work. She wasn't expected to work. Hello? I heard somebody there.
No, it was my phone.
Oh,
I muted it. I muted it briefly because I tell you what, it didn't half annoy me.
It sounded like a woman's voice squealing, oh no, or something like that. Hello, I said something wrong there. £6 a day loading roofs. Yeah. I mean, I used to go around the building site saying, look, let me work for you today, and you decide whether I get a job out of it tomorrow. And if you think I'm worth it, you pay me for today. And that's how you used to get jobs back then. You know, everybody used to take the piss out of that comedy that was on telly. What was the one with the brickies?
Oh God, I can see his face.
Auf Wiedersehen, Pet.
Oh, that one.
With Yossa, gets a job, I can do that. And that was literally what it was like in my day.
And Mr. I'm from Birmingham.
You know, if you wanted to arrange an interview for a job, you probably had to walk a mile for a phone. So it was either written word, you know.
Yeah.
All the job centre used to do was give you an address of a job. That was all you used to get from a job centre. There was none of this sit in front of it, oh, there it is, what have you. You used to pick up the card off the rack with the job that was advertised, that were all handwritten, take it to the desk. They'd tell you where the job it was. If you were lucky, they might ring to arrange an appointment, but if not, you were just given their address and told to fuck off and apply for the job. Boys from the Black Stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Mick. Thinner camera.
You've got me thinking about another TV series now.
Yeah, there was Auf Wiedersehen, Pet, and Boys from the Black Stuff. I think one was a follow-on.
You've got me thinking about another one now that was more like 2 points, but it wasn't 2 points.
Yes, Beardy, and a lot of messages were sent up by the coast as well. Even for maritime, the cargo ships, they had flags going down the coast from most of the ports because the boats used to hug the coast, and they'd signal ahead to let them know what boat was coming into port. And obviously at sea, you can communicate with flags and semaphore and what have you, you know, even if you haven't got lights to do Morse code, you know. But the biggest thing is that people don't know is if there ever is a big bang and the balloon goes up, you won't be able to use it because it will be jammed up by officials, but the only reliable source that will be left and unaffected, unless by explosions, is landlines. Because there won't be any mobile, there won't be any internet. And they will repair landlines if they're damaged during a conflict, because that will be their main source of contact. But that's something we've known about for years. I'm desperate, Father. Call me down. I'm desperate. Yeah, they are starting to, but they are leaving some in for military use for that. I know that from a fact. I know one of the fitters, or did. I haven't seen him for a few years. A bit of Roger the cabin boy. Oi, oi, me mateys. Do you know, that is a nice cup of coffee.
Stop sounding fucking surprised.
No, I didn't drink coffee for years, Jack. I never drank tea.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, I had a cup, and I thought, yeah. And, you know, it's probably my taste buds, but you can eat something exactly the same twice. And one time it will taste better than another.
Yeah.
You know, it might be just an extra bit of the whitener in there, or extra half spoon of sugar that's crept in somewhere. You just taste a nice cup today. And it's better than drinking fizzy drinks all afternoon. So,
You know what annoys me, right? Speaking of fizzy drinks, let me mute my. Not today. There we go. Do you know? And what does annoy me about fizzy drinks? Do you know the fizzy drinks that like so you've got different varieties now. Like you've got Pepsi Max, you've got
Yeah.
Coca Cola Zero, all these yeah. Well, when people say, "Oh, there's no sugar in them," you do it. There is still sugar in them.
There's
They put
sweeteners,
They put sweeteners in them instead. Yeah,
and a lot of those sweeteners are worse for you than sugar is.
yeah.
But it's the physical amount of sugar. I mean, there was something like about 16 spoonfuls went into one can of Coke.
Yeah.
The full fat one. I mean, I switched to Coke Zero some time back. Most of my Go juices haven't got sugar in, but they are loaded up with caffeine and other chemicals. Oh, pardon me.
The thing that annoys me, right, is I mean, I've got a couple of family members. One that I don't really speak to a lot anymore, but they drink Pepsi Max on the daily, right? They have like they bought by them big, huge packets of Pepsi Max 2 litre bottles, right? And I always say to them, you do realise that's not good for you, right? Now, I have to explain to them all the time, but the thing is, they do understand, they do know, they just can't be bothered. They just can't stop drinking. It's like,
Look, I know that stuff's bad for me. All fizzy drinks are. And to be honest, I shouldn't be drinking it with my blood issues either.
yeah,
Even with the CO2 in there, the fizzy, that's not good for me. But yeah, James, that's the thing. See, I don't drink beer anymore or cider. I drank enough of it in my younger days to last me as long as I ever live. But no, I haven't drunk for 15 years. But yeah, I know I should give it up, but I just don't like the idea of sitting there drinking bloody orange all day and shit like that, you know?
see, the
I
thing is,
like
right, is
to,
people don't realise how bad fizzy drinks are for you. I mean, sort of having it now and again, when
Yeah.
you're having it all the time, like my two of my family members have it all the time. Not, I mean, yes, one of them will drink tea. I mean, and will reuse their tea bags. By the way, they won't even throw them away; they'll just reuse it. Which I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. If you can do that, but
yeah, I
when
mean,
you,
my
You
biggest
can use them till they wear out.
my biggest issue with this shit, and I know it does it. I complain about my sleep patterns, but then I'll sit up on a live stream till 1 o'clock in the morning drinking the crap, and then complain that I can't sleep. You know.
yeah,
In fact, the small cans, you very rarely notice it, but you'd only get about a 20-minute sort of little boost from them, and that's it. It's like the energy shit we used to take when we were biking,
yeah,
mountain biking, and that. You know, you take one of these high gel things that's got all the carbs and the electrolytes and shit like that in it. Yeah, you feel great for about 5-10 minutes, and then you got to take another one because you start to feel shit.
The thing is as well is I am one of the people that I don't drink energy drinks at all. Nothing, right? It does not phase me at all. And I because of how I am, I can be very hyperactive without sugar, without fizzy drinks. I'm not necessarily saying being hyperactive in general, but that only makes it 100 times worse. But I just particularly don't like energy drinks because
Yeah,
they're not good for you. They've got far too much caffeine in it.
some people don't, you know, but
Yeah.
there again, those people that don't drink it will probably take as much caffeine in coffee through the day.
Yeah.
So
Like them prime bottles. I don't even know what the big
it's a
craze
name.
is about
It's a
prime.
name. There's nothing in it. In fact, some of it has been proved harmful. So it's just a name, mate. I even me energy drinks. I get the cheapest ones available.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
do. You get the free ones out the fridge.
You know. I mean, I stopped buying them at the corner shop because he put the price up to 35p a can. What's Red Bull now? 170. Virtually the same thing.
Speaking of Red Bull, actually, now you do a lot of research, don't you, Roger?
I do a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear several years ago about someone that, do you know the slogan that Red Bull has? It gives you wings,
Yeah,
right? I'm not sure if they still use that slogan or not.
yeah, they do, yeah.
Okay. Well, someone actually went ahead and went and tried what the slogan was, which is it gives you wings. So they actually tried to jump off a building with the but they drank a Red Bull beforehand.
Oh, I've
Obviously,
known
I
people
don't.
done that, but it's nothing to do with Red Bull.
Yeah. So, no. So basically, what happened was so they went and I'm not sure if they jumped off a building, but they basically tried to fly. Right, it didn't work, and they suffered major
Oh,
trauma from it or whatever, and they actually sued Red Bull, right, the Red Bull company, because of the slogan "It gives you wings," because they made a guarantee that it gives you wings, even though it doesn't. Even though it's a slogan, I get it. They sued them, and guess what? They won because it's false advertising.
well, they never absolutely say it, it's humour, but people will take it seriously, you know. Why would I
The,
want to
the thing
check
is,
out
you,
your
you
picture?
can't. The thing is with the. I mean, I don't. I might have heard of some other brands as well, but it's mainly the Red Bull one. And it was actually quite shocking to know that Red Bull got sued, and it was for a lot of money. It wasn't for like a couple of grand. It was for like a couple of £100,000, and they won. Because of because the slogan was "It gives you wings." They made a guarantee via their slogan, and other people have won as well. So it's not just one person, but they
Hang on,
still
Jack.
use that.
Sorry, mate. Hang on a minute.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Sorry, Jack. Carry on, mate. Ella was just
Um,
reminding me of the time, so I will be shutting down in about 10 minutes.
Cool, no worries. Well, at least today went a lot better than last week.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Well, was it?
it don't matter where you go. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Lotham. After that cup of coffee, now my stomach's giving it. Come on, I need something a bit more solid than that.
And we haven't
Well, you
even
haven't.
decided what we're having
Yeah,
tonight.
we've got to go through the half-hour discussion of what we're actually going to have first.
Well, you haven't even figured it out yet.
Oh no! I mean, she always says, "What do you want for tea?" I don't know.
Do you want your favourite?
And then she'll read off what's in the freezer or what's in the
What's your
fridge.
favorite? What's your favorite meal?
Oh, well, I've got mince. I don't mind that, and there's big tubs of that in there. I know that because she cooked it all off the other day. Bacon jobbies, like the Greg bacon wrap type things. Chicken. Ooh, always eat chicken. Very rarely a kebab, but I do enjoy a kebab now and again. But I've got to the stage where 9 times out of 10 I can't even finish the small ones. So.
Yeah.
All right, and Loafer, take it easy, mate.
Enjoy
Probably
your
see you
day.
Sunday night. Dan's live will be 8 o'clock as usual, I expect. He hasn't said any
Is
different.
is Dan not doing the members live streams as anymore?
No, we've given it a miss for the last couple of weeks because there's been issues. There was one where Dan literally couldn't do it, and
Right.
then we missed one of them. But he will get back on track with them, I expect.
Yeah.
He did come up with the idea of doing like an impromptu midweek live for the members, just sort of like 10 till midnight or 8 till midnight, put a specific time on it.
Yeah.
But obviously you don't get as many viewers in there.
No, because it's restricted just to members only. Exactly.
Yeah. And
It tends to be a lot more chilled out with the members than it does the public live streams.
Yeah, it's like in here because we've only had, I think we had 33 on earlier at most. And obviously you've got the lurkers in the background. I know there's people there, there's subs that tell me that they just sit in the background and listen. That's absolutely fine,
Yeah.
Don't mind that. Andy Red Volvo, because he drives a truck, I think it is, and he can't interact, but he can listen.
Yeah.
And same with my videos. He'll always drop a comment, even if it's a thumbs up. But I've always known that he can't really interact because it's his job,
Yeah. Which is understandable.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Don't have a problem with that at all. Same as there's a lot of people that watch the videos but won't comment for various personal reasons. Great, I'm not worried about the analytics, to be honest. Yeah, I always look at the numbers, but they don't bother me. I don't go out there like promoting the bloody channel everywhere just to get a view. I put it on Facebook so some of my old friends on there can see it. I'll put it on Dan's Discord, and I advertise it on my own channel. People like Paranormal in there, that they share the channel, which is absolutely great. If people want to share it, if they think it's worth sharing.
Yeah.
But no, I like the way it is. I do like the way it is. Mainly it's the videos, obviously, because that's what I started the channel for. But I've got to enjoy the lives now. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy meeting other people. And with the live, you get the chance to see people face to face. Like me and yourself, we chatted for ages in the chat before we even knew what each other looked like,
Yeah.
And then you go the next stage, which some of us have, where you actually go and meet the people for whatever reason. And that takes an online friendship to another level, as it were.
Exactly, yeah.
And
that's why I terminated one of mine, which I spoke about week 2, 3, can't remember now. But
thank you, Brian.
Because, well, for 7 years, you don't really want to speak to someone that you've personally met as well. You've seen what they've done in real life, and you don't want to be a part of that. You don't even want to be around the person or even talk to the person, because if anything, it makes you feel very sick. Considering I've never had kids.
Take care, Brian. Be safe, mate.
It is sick to have seen certain things, and it's like you just don't want that part, that phase. You just don't want that person to be a part of your life, in your circle, your inner circle.
Well, as you know, I've said about it before. A lot of my old friends from my youth, well, I say a lot, a few at the moment, have got in touch through Facebook, which is absolutely brilliant. I will say, Colin, if you're watching, I did see a friend's request come up, mate, but it disappeared off my screen before I could react to it for some reason. I'll see if I can get hold of him tomorrow. But there's people from my past that I don't want to know, I wouldn't want to hear from.
Yeah.
But so far, touch wood, everyone that's got in touch is absolutely welcome, and it has been bloody great catching up with them, Life moved on. People have moved in different directions. One or two have never changed. They're still the same person they were years ago. And, I like to see that. And they can see what became of me from the person that I was. Because I was a nasty little bastard at times. But, no, and there's probably, again, there's people out there that have seen my profile that, I don't want to fucking get in touch with him. Fine, it's a choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. It's 5-2, but I'm going to wind that up now. People, It's been absolutely brilliant again. Shame nobody else jumped up there, just leaving poor old Jack up there to put up with me.
No, it's fine, but we get along, so it's okay.
Thank you, everybody, for dropping in this afternoon. I know sometimes it can be a bit slow. Yeah, we got hung up on a few subjects there. Didn't talk about a lot of other stuff that I wanted to go through. But most of it can be saved for another time or even used in a video next week. So I will say, Jack, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you very much.
Always welcome up on the panel. And everybody else, as always, well, including Jack. Oh, must thank my tech support behind there.
And give me a chance to say goodbye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.
Holly for doing what she does with her spanner. Always appreciated. And stay safe. Stay strong. Stay free. Take care, everybody. Have a brilliant weekend. It's supposed to be warm, so slip, slap, slop. No, I shouldn't have said that. All right. See you guys. See you, Jack. Take care, mate.
Take care.
Oh, hang on. I've got a. Oh, there we go.